Okay, so now we're going to continue on with the body. So now I've got 3 grams or 0.11 ounces of core wool again, and this is for the body. So I'm not sure if this is going to be too much, but my head's a little bit bigger than my size, guys, so I think I'm going to just adjust a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to roll. Actually, it's easier for me to roll off the foam, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and for this, you're going to want the top a little thinner towards the neck compared to the rump. So what I'm doing here, I'm kind of keeping that pretty tight, and then the little extra I'm kind of rolling and adding a little bit more here, so it gives it a shape. If you can't figure out how to do that, no worries. You can always just add more after you felt a sausage shape. Okay. So I've got something like that, and I'm just going to do a quick check on my size guide. That looks close enough. Oh, sorry. So here, because it's not flattened out or poked in yet, so I'm just getting a rough idea. Okay, and then, sorry, bring back my foam, and I'm going to want to do this pretty tight. Okay, so where the wool kind of came together, I'm going to poke it, so the seams are in first. Okay, and then I'm going to poke the bottom end in nice and tight. Okay. All right, so I don't know. Did I already mention I'm using probably a 38 gauge? I usually just have 36, 38, and 40. Every once in a while I have 42. And those are just different gauges of needles, and I just have a couple out, and sometimes or most of the time they're not even marked. I just poke and see what works. If your fiber is coming together, it means it's working. If the holes are too big, it means you want to, if the holes are too big and it's coming together and it's the core wool part and it's not going to be seen, that's totally fine. But if the holes are too big and it's like on the surface, then just try a different needle and use one that will help you get the fiber to stick together without the big holes. Okay, so you don't have to worry too much about figuring out the right gauge. You just try it. And the reason is, you know, every fiber, the fineness is different, and you rarely ever know. I mean, I work with fiber all day with my alpaca, so I have a pretty good idea about the fineness, but you know, most people probably won't no, so it's totally okay to just try different gauges. In general, the core wool you're going to want to use, core wool like this, you're going to use the 38 gauge, which is the all-purpose, or the 36, which is for coarser fiber, but that really felts quickly. So, just a few extra tips as we work. Okay, so I'm going to probably stop here so you can kind of see it's at an angle, skinnier on the top. And I have left a little bit of loose fiber up here so it's easier for me to attach. Now, this is where I would check and see if I like the size. So, okay, so that's probably okay. Okay. So I'm going to leave a little bit of that loose. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover the body. So for this little one, I think I'm going to just, this is the medium gray. I'm just rubbing it a little bit so it's easier. I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom first. So I'm just covering the bottom. And then I'm just going to secure it first like this so it's easier to work with. Okay, and then I'm just poking it in. Okay, so that's just the bottom, and then I could do this, but I'm going to just poke it in when I do the whole body. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab this and cover. I'm going to try to cover it where it stops being loose. You can always add it more later. So see right here, I'm just going to cover about this much since that's where it's going to attach. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. and go cover. That seems to cover the whole thing. So I'm gonna start here. Like that. So that's there. And then I can just spend time covering the body like this. Okay. So I'm just poking real fast. Okay. So you just do as much of this poking as you want to get the body tight. And this is again another point where you can shape the body and resize it. Okay, so I'm going to pause again. So take a little bit of time to do that and then match the size, and then we'll attach the body to the head and then make the legs and continue on in just a moment. Okay, so now that I've got the body pretty tightly covered, I'm just gonna roll it just a little bit and then shape it a little. So you can just always use your hands. Okay, and now we're going to attach. So there's a lot of extra white here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. Okay, is that good? Or do I wanna get rid of some? I'm gonna go ahead and attach it. Okay, so I am going to, actually let me see. I want it this way. Okay, so I am going to put the neck to the head like this. So I'm just kind of going like this, and let's see, how am I going to do this? Can you see somewhat? Okay, so what I'm going to do is poke this in first, all around. So I'm actually tucking in, okay, let me see if I can show you better. Okay, so I'm gonna be tucking the white in a bit, just so it won't show up as much. And again, I'm just gonna cover it later, so it's no biggie. Okay. And I'm going to just carefully attach the outside around first. It's squishing the poor little ears, but we can fluff him up later. Okay. And so right now I'm kind of poking in the white a little bit to hide it, but if it sticks out, we can just cover it later. And I think we're gonna have to cover it anyway, but just showing you how. Okay. So that was all around. Now, so now it still feels a little long. It's upside down, but it feels a little long. So what I'm going to do, and to make it more secure, I'm actually going to hold the, this way, the bottom and the head like this. And I'm going to see if I can angle it in a little bit. So I'm actually trying to shorten the distance and tighten this area like that. And so if this happens, you can either go back and take the body off and get rid of some of that white, or you can just try to sort of shrink it a little bit in this direction. Yeah, I probably should have followed my own size guide better. Okay. Okay, so I'm kind of angling it in. Okay, well, it actually kind of did shrink it enough, I think. So, yeah, that's a technique you could use. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop here for messing with this little guy's attachment point so that I can show you the next steps. Yeah. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and cover right here where we attached it so you can see how that's done. It's super easy. You're just going to take a little bit of this, and I like to just do this because it makes it faster. Okay, and then I'm just going to poke like that. So it just covers it, just like that. And you'll never even know we attached the head. See? Perfect. Okay. And then the front, I'm not going to do anything just yet. Here, I'm not going to do it because, oh goodness, sorry, down here. Okay, right here, I'm not going to do anything just yet because we're going to add the white, and so we'll take care of it then. Okay. So now we're going to make, so cute, the hands and feet for this little guy or girl. Looks like a guy. Okay, so I've got my gray. You'd be surprised at how little you need for this. So I'm going to go with about this much and maybe this much. And to kind of get the paw color on while we roll it, I'm going to use this little bit of black, or I'm sorry, this is actually dark gray. I'm just going to layer it. Just a little bit. Okay, just layering just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to roll this as tight as I can. Okay, tight, 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 tight. Okay, bring it back. And poke. Okay, I'm gonna roll it and poke so it doesn't get stuck to the foam. Okay, gonna roll and poke. Roll and poke, roll and poke. And then the tip, again, you don't need to go deep on this. You just need to tap it in, and that will also save your fingers from getting poked and bloody, which we don't want. Okay. So you see how I did that? And now we've got a little raccoon hand. Okay, and then to just tighten it, you can also go a little bit like that. There. So then I'm going to see how does it fit. Okay, so for this raccoon, it's about the right size. For my size guide, it's a little bit bigger, but everything's a little bit bigger for this one. So we're going to create 2 of these. I'm going to go ahead and create one more, so you can just go ahead and pause along and make your hand, and then we'll be back. So I'm back with the arms that mostly match. And I went ahead and made the legs. So it's the same process, it's just a little bit bigger, as you can kind of see. Let's see if I can show you. Arms and legs. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach it. Okay, so I'm just gonna look at where it goes and just poke in place. Okay, and try the other side. And so this isn't in very tight yet. I'm still checking. Okay, so this one's a little too long. Okay, so I think I like the positioning here. Oh, where is the camera? Oh, crooked. Sorry, Raccoon. Okay, and so once I like the location, I'm just gonna go ahead and poke. Okay, just making sure for me right now, since I want this little raccoon to hold a mushroom, I'm just gonna make sure that it can reach. So, can hold it. I'll hold a little mushroom. Okay, now the legs, same thing. Gonna sort of position it. Okay, that didn't work. So when I do that, it's not working. So let's see. How am I going to do this? Okay, a little bit further back and lower. Okay. So I just adjusted the leg a little bit lower and further back towards the rump. Okay, so I think I like that better. Okay, I'm going to get both of them on. And we're going to build the hind legs in just a minute. So this is the first step. Let's see. Okay, actually I like this side better because it actually sits better. Okay, so I'm gonna take this one off. I haven't really put it in tight, so it came right off. Guess I'm gonna lower it just even more. Okay, and I'm gonna see how that goes. Okay, that's better. Sort of. Okay, so now I'm going to secure it in better and make sure that it's not going to fall off if I pull on it. Okay. It's going in. Okay. So it's secured in now, but now we're going to build this area a little bit. So make it a little closer. So we're going to build by adding wool here, and you can kind of see it. Let me show you on this one. So you can see how I built the hind legs here and on this side. Okay. So to do that, all we have to do is take a little bit more of that same medium gray color. Maybe I'm just going to go ahead and sort of fold it like that. And then I'm going to put it sort of matching the bum this way and angling it a little bit. So the bottom of the folded triangle's down here. And I'm going to put it in the leg, and then I'm going to kind of do it in like a little bit of an arc here. Can you see that? I think you can see it. I think so. So I'm poking it here to shape it, and then that's the little built up area. And you can see the difference. Can you see the difference? Yes. You can see the difference between the right leg and the left so far. Okay. And you can build up a little bit more or less depending on how you want it. I'm just going to make the other side even. Or actually, why don't I add more on the first side so you can really see the difference. So now I'm going to fold it now just in half. And then put it like here. And just build it up. So again, the little arc here. Okay. And it's not in super tight just yet. I'm still kind of seeing how it looks. Okay. Oh, perfect. So now you can really see the difference between the built up side here and then the flat side. So this isn't added yet. So you'll want to just sort of work on that and get as much built up as you like. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Where did you go? Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more here. Oh, wrong way, sorry, here, there. Can you see? A little bit, hopefully. So this side I added a lot more all at once. Since I figured the other side we were adding twice. So just going to show you what that looks like. And then we'll build the rump up a bit. Okay. Okay. So you can kind of see how I built that side up. And just take your time and get it right. I'm just going to move on so you can see the process and take the time to get it just right. This other cutie down here took me a really long time. So, okay, so we'll do that. Okay, and so the next thing I want to build up is the bottom. So you can see how this one, it's kind of curving in at this point, and I think I'm going to poke it out a little bit so that it's sitting a little. Did you see that? Okay, stay here. We're going to balance you better. So let's see, can I just add it like that? Might be a little much, so maybe I'll go like this. Okay, so I'm just folding a little bit of wool, and I'm just going to poke that in to see how that looks. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. Okay, there, it's sitting. So it definitely needs more cleanup work. Yeah, it needs a little more cleanup work, and I would probably add like a little bit of fluff to smooth out the lines. So I'm just now adding, since I was building earlier, I didn't worry too much about that line, but now that I want to smooth it out, I might take like a nice little super fluffy thing so that it blends in better. So see how that kind of gets rid of all your lines. Okay, so here. And normally I would just spend more time poking that in. This little guy's a little fuzzy. Okay, so far this is what I have. Okay, all right, and then let's go ahead and add the white on the chest, because that's really cute and pretty. So I'm just taking a little bit of fluff, and you can always just, if it's not aligned, this is aligned, so let me get like, if it's kind of like this, all you have to do is grab one end, just hold it, and then pull, and then you'll kind of get the length, and then you'll just overlap it, kind of like that. You can do it a couple times and then just get rid of the loose ones. Okay. And let's see, I think I'm going to go with this fluffy one. All right, so then you're going to take the center point right here, and you're going to match it on the neck. So I'm going to open the arms a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to match it in the center, and I'm going to poke it in like that. Okay. And then I'm going to fold it over. Ow, whoops. I'm going to fold it over. And this allows you to get that fluff going down in the right direction. Okay, so I'm going to poke that, and then I'm also going to poke here. If this white is too long, you can just trim it down. Okay, so this one's going to have a lot of extra cute white. All right, so you just saw that? All right, okay, so I'm going to, okay. So, for instance, like, I'm looking at this right now, and I know it's harder to see in different angles, but if I want the nose to point up a little bit more, I can just, so you see where the nose is right here. So if I poke in here, you can probably even see the nose shifting. Not sure if you can see, it's pretty subtle, but it pulled the nose up a little bit. So it's pretty fun. You can do different things. All right, let's keep moving on. Okay, so now we're going to do the tail. So I'm going to show you how to make a tail kind of like this, where it's sort of fluffy and cute. Okay, so we're going to first make the base tail shape. So I want to make the tip a little finer. So I'm actually focusing on the tail tip here. Okay, so I was kind of rolling it with the tip in mind, tip focus and tip of the tail really tight. So it's a little bit arched right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that real quick. So you kind of see that it's a little arched. Okay. And this tail's gonna be way too big. I can already see that. Okay. Okay, actually it's gonna need a little bit more poking. So this part can be tight because we're actually going to be adding the fiber, different color, to create that banded look. So you can just tighten this up. Just try to make it so that the tip is as fine as you can get it, and it has a bit of that tail shape. And if you're still really new and you want to just go for a super easy tail, then, oh, sorry, you can see. Okay, I'm just rolling it a little bit to tighten it. Okay, so if you're still new and you don't want to spend too much more time on the tail, you can just band it, okay? So all you have to do is just like take a color, band it, and I think it goes gray, white-ish. So you can just band it like that and poke it in, okay? So the way we're going to do it, and let me just check the length. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna want it short, so I'm going to stop here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull a little off. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so the very tip, I'm gonna go with a dark gray, I think. You might need to look at a real raccoon. This one looks like it's got a dark color. Okay, so to make it fluffy, what we're going to do is I'm going to realign my fiber. So this is really short and crimpy, so we're just gonna kind of align it like that. And then I'm going to kind of keep an eye on where the center is, and I'm gonna stretch it out. Okay, and then towards the bottom of the tail, okay, so this end can match the tail end, and then in the center we're going to poke it. So we're going to kind of poke around the center. You'll see how it works in just a minute. Okay. Okay. So I'm actually just poking the center here. Okay. And then you could probably take your fingers. So once it's secured in the center, so it looks kind of funny like that right now, what I'm going to do is pull this side down like that. Okay. And then, okay, and then I'm gonna probably take my larger gauge needle. So you probably want like a 36 gauge or 38. Don't use your super fine needle because you'll probably break it. Okay, and I'm just pulling this down. So remember we poked in the center. Okay, now we're gonna push it down. Okay, so now you kind of see how it's going down. Okay, so that's the tip. Now I'm gonna hold where we poked it in the center, and I'm gonna sort of comb it a bit. Okay, so right here, you can do both with your hands as well as with scissors. So you can trim it now, or we can trim it later. I think I'm going to trim it later. Okay, so that's the first layer, and it is extended beyond, so I'm going to probably end up cutting it about to like half. Okay, and so let's do the next layer. So I think I'm going to go ahead and band it with white. So it's the same concept. So we're going to go like that and hold one end, and this is just showing you roughly the length of the fiber that's been used to create this batter roving. Okay, and I'm gonna sort of stretch it out a little bit so I can wrap it around, and I'm gonna go about a little bit higher, And if you want like super tight little bands, you know, you just do it closer together. I'm just gonna only have like 4 bands. Okay, so you poke it in again, right here. Okay, poke, 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 poke. Okay, and then again, you're going to take this top side over. Okay, so you got your second layer. Okay, that one I want to cut because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, and I probably should have gotten my other good scissors. That's for hair. Okay, but you get the idea. Oh, sorry, I'm off camera again. Okay, it's a little messy and it takes a little bit of practice. But so you can kind of see how it's coming together. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this so that you can see. Okay, so you can see how it's nice and fluffy. It's really fluffy. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the next row. And you can sort of blend the colors a little bit too. I don't know what the actual raccoon looks like today. Okay. All right, so this is like maybe medium and dark gray together. So I aligned it to some degree and I'm going to layer it right here. I'm gonna poke it right in the center. I'm gonna rotate it, rotate, rotate. If there's not quite enough, you can always add a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm gonna fold it over. Ooh, very pretty. Okay, so you kind of see how that's coming together. I think I'm gonna keep it like that. That's really pretty. Okay. Yeah, that white was a little too big. That's okay. Here, right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna do one more white, maybe. I'm gonna do that a little bit of gray. So I'm just adding a little bit of gray, just. Okay, and then I'm going to attach this here. The center, poke, 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 poke. Okay, so if you decide you want to just band it, that's totally cool too. Okay, and then I'm gonna find wherever that thing is. No, it's getting a little crazy. Okay, but it is fun. Actually gonna poke that in a little bit. Okay, and it does help to have like the hair cutting scissors. This is like just regular scissors, and I can see how it's a little harder to trim up. But you can just trim it up however you want. It's a little long. Okay. All right, and then I'm just gonna roll it a bit. Okay, so now you got kind of like this cute little fuzzy, more realistic tail. And now we're just going to attach it. So I've got that white part here at the end. And going to attach. We can just fix the legs later. So I'm gonna attach it like this. It looks like I'm gonna have to cover the butt again. Okay. So if you have extra gray, you can make your tail using the gray as the base versus the core wool. And then when you attach it, this would be like gray instead of white. So it'd be one less thing to do. I'm gonna also show you how to tuck that back in. So you see how I poked it in once like this to attach it? Now I'm actually going to hide as much as I can by poking the white part in. Actually, are you able to see? Okay, I think closer. So I'm tucking that in under, so you're not gonna see a whole lot of it left. Pretty cool. There. Okay. Got a big happy tail. It might just be a little bit big. Okay, so for instance here, it's up to you. You can fix it or you can just leave it. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it. But that's something you can cover. And if you want to leave like this tail really happy, fluffy like that, you can just do it and keep it like that. Or if you want to have it stay a little bit more next to the body, you curve it. And then I like to poke it towards the bottom down here. So towards the bottom of the animal so that you're not squishing it going this way. Although you may need to do a little bit of that. So just a little bit here. Get it in. Okay. Okay, so now we have your little raccoon with a fuzzy tail. Yay! Alrighty, so I will do the mushrooms and the pad in a separate video. So see you soon. Bye now.